What's up, Dylan? Early morning, brain not braining. Right now. I'm trying to mix this this jam. Getting practice mixing some real drums. Nice rhythms there. Let's go. Yeah, the actual jam went on for like, it was like 10 minutes of this. I was like, no way. Wait, it still feels too long. I stripped it down to like 3 minutes. cleaner. I'm streaming consistently? Is it to get motivation? It's more I'm just like a creature of habit, and I just had the impulse a few months ago to start streaming, and I really like streaming, so I just choose certain things to do when I stream because I have other stuff I have to do. I only do 2 hour streams, and basically I just try to keep keep everything I do on the stream for the most part microtonal, and that I guess that does like keep me doing microtonal stuff, but I'd probably do it anyway. I'm just about anything I'm streaming I would probably do anyways. There is definitely some degree of the stream influences my behavior and decisions, because like for instance I only got the linnstrument because Romeo's was telling me about it while I was streaming. So I don't know. I just see it as I don't really see any downsides to streaming, and I like watching streams, and I really like it when streamers are consistent. And while I'm not like aiming to be like a big time streamer or anything, I know that I like that, and I know I can be that, so I'll just do it. Yeah, but no, I don't really do it to get motivation. I do it to I the main purpose behind doing it, other than like to just put myself out there in some way, is to just help share the just be a part of the microtonal movement or whatever you want to call it, if it even is that. I think it is one. So I just want to be a part of that in some way. Hopefully ultimately the way I'm a part of it is I write some really good music for it, but even if I can just contribute in smaller ways like doing stuff like this, I'm glad to do it, you know. So yeah. There's something about hearing the same unfinished piece over and over again. Well, I don't know if you're talking about this. I'm mixing this. It's just a jam. That's why it's unfinished, I guess. But I'm curious what it is there. What it is there is about it. I'll be the first to admit, like, I probably would not watch my stream. I don't know when I would have time. I don't really watch a lot of music content, to be honest. I watch way more like gamers. That's what that's where my love of streaming comes from. Uh, so this is a oh my bad, yeah, this is a jam So these are jams that I did with my old band, Doom Salad, and I've been working on these for the last couple weeks. So, oh, something familiar. Oh, calm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's something about like repetition and consistency that's ends up being like being that. But yeah, we got my old band. We got together because our drummer was in town for a wedding, and we like just just spit out these jams in like 2.5, maybe 3 hours. And we've done improv releases before. We did one EP, and then like a little over a year ago, we got together for a weekend. Our drummer came in town for the weekend, and we met for like 3 days, and we jammed like a ton. And we actually had some pretty cool jams in that one. So this one was way more was like totally unplanned. Just our guitarist hit me up like I think a few days before our drummer came in town and was like, "Would you drop by so we could do some jams?" And then after we did it, I offered to mix this batch and to add more bass and stuff. And I figured I'd do it on stream because almost all the keyboard parts I was playing were microtonal. So I figured it kind of halfway fits in the theme of the stream, I guess. Um, so yeah, and then a lot of the bass I'm adding, it's all microtonal too. Hey Bailey, how's it going? How'd your stream go? I caught a little bit of it. It was sounding like really cool. The beats and all that were like sick. So um, but yeah, Doman, this is like real drums and talking about hearing the piece over and over. Spent 20 minutes trying to think up a stream title. I'll never spend 20 minutes on a stream title. Uh, Mostly because, maybe throughout the night, 10, 10, 20 people actually see it. So what is, what does it matter even? But it's funny too. I don't know how much the title affected it, but like one of my most viewed streams, the title is just IDK. You got delayed 20 minutes because you didn't know. Yeah, I get crazy like that with like song titles and album title, or I used to, not really so much anymore. I used to go through like a altered state of consciousness just to like figure out like the band name for my old group and like the album title. Like I argued with the guitarist about it for like right. No, yeah, it's like a nonsense title is almost like probably gonna do just as well. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't. The more I like get like that every time, like in hindsight, like every time I get like super, I always do it at some point. I always get like super tweaky and like really like hyper concerned about some like really small detail, and I'll like spend so much time on it, and then I'll get through it, and then like in hindsight, like months, years later, I'll go, hmm, I don't know that what I came up with was even that great. It was like didn't really. It almost never like reflects the effort. You know, it's almost like the general effort and gets reflected is like better reflected than I don't know. Maybe with some things, but a lot of times I end up just going I mean a lot of times like the next time that like now with titles I never like spend that much time on it. I will think about it, like try to make an honest effort, especially if it's like a song I care about or something. But if I can't, if I don't have a good idea, it's like whatever, just name it something. It's the first thing that pops in your head. It's fine, probably. You know, if folks care about titles. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much people think about it. You know, you've delayed releasing songs for 6 months. It's 'cause- yeah, wow, holy moly. Mostly a matter of being on brand. I mean, like it or not, like in some way, it's gonna be a reflection of your personality. But you know, if you have like a specific image you're trying to project, then I can see like making an effort to like make sure it's consistent with that image or whatever. Some people care more about that than others for sure. Titles and thumbnails do matter for YouTube. I mean, sure, yeah, it does, but it's also like it has nothing to do with you. It like has to do with like what people are responding to at the time. It's like I don't know how much I really don't feel like getting wrapped up in like what everybody else is doing. Cause that it's just like it just annoys me. Like you're gonna get influenced by what's going on anyway. But to like to I could really see myself like spiraling in this weird kind of like depressed, hyper obsessed, like insecure loop. Because I do that with everything anyway. But like when it comes to like stuff that's like totally out of my control, like whatever the trendy thing is, it's like oh my god, I could just see that not being a good thing for me. So I just you know like I care about the numbers. Don't get me wrong. Like I would love to be popular. I would love to be. I mean, just to have like you know more support for what I do. Like even just practically speaking, like it'd be nice to have like some degree of success. But I don't know where it's like where do I want to put my effort? It's like not on that really, even though it would help. It's just it's like really hard for me to think about stuff like that. But it's not hard for me to obsess over the things I'm obsessed with, and then I just cross my fingers and hope that like somehow in the long run that will help me. And I say long run. I've already been doing music for 21 years, so you know, and I've been like a serious musician for most of that. And you know, I've already had a long run and it hasn't worked out, but I still like I can't I don't know. I can't like I can't do anything except what I do basically. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I'm trying to say I'm never gonna know what the right trendy thing is to do, and I'm not gonna bother trying. And honestly, I'm when you're like being 36 and like doing that, it's like feels like I didn't care when I was 26. You know what I mean? I had the same attitude basically, but the older I get, the more I'm like, you know, think about someone that age doing that. Like, doesn't that seem sad even to younger people? You know what I mean? It's like I don't really want to do that. So I don't want anyone to expect me to do that either. I think it's annoying. But just make the art you have to make. Like if you have to make something, you already have like a you know you already have a gift. So just be be blessed or whatever. Be grateful you have that much. And a lot of people have a gift and they have no compulsion to do anything with it. So Maybe I don't have a gift, but I definitely have a compulsion. And either it's a blessing or it's a literal like just dysfunction. But either way, I do the same thing. Cthulhu called, and you have to do music. Yeah. All right. All right. I think I'm done mixing for today. Compulsion is a gift, right? Maybe so. All right. I guess I'm going to read more of this stuff. This is kind of what we're doing lately. Porcupine. I'm gonna read some RTT stuff. So I'll put on the Sevish playlist. Sevish made a playlist of microtonal music, and it's quite good. And it seems that he regularly updates it even still. So yeah, just gonna keep going with that. You remembered some things about using porcupine? This this setup on the linnstrument, vertically it's porcupine. But anyway, so reading more of this. I kind of went over this chart yesterday, and it's just talking about, like, this is really similar to moss, so maybe it's actually the same thing. But basically, like, you could, as long as you have 2 mean tone generators, or you need 2 generators for mean tone. This is just like, this applies, I think, to every temperament or whatever, but like say your temperament's mean tone, you need 2 generators to produce it, and they could be 5 and 7, or whatever, 5 and 2. Basically, if you subtract one of the generators from the other one, it produces another generator. So we started with like 17 Ito and 12 Ito mappings as being used together as a generator for mean tone. You know, each one's one of the 2 generators. So you can subtract 12 from 17, you get 5, and you could use 12 and 5 and get mean tone from that, or you could subtract 5 from 12 and get 7. You could use 5 and 7, so that's where we get here. You could subtract 5 from 7, get 5 and 2, and all of these all these work to generate mean tone. And here it's kind of explaining like how this works, where basically, say you subtract 5 from 7. So basically, like, you end up with 2 of the... Basically, you take out 5 of these larger generators, the 7. You're left with 2 of those. And then, for the existing 5 that you have, you add those 5s to these. So basically, you're not really like subtracting. You're actually like combining the bottom 5 of this 7, each one individually, with each of these individual 5s. So you end up with 5 that are larger by one of these plus one of these yellow ones plus one of these green ones. So the new 5 is bigger than the old 5, and the 2 is the same size. The 2 generator the ones you have 2 of, are the same size as the ones you had 7 of. And if you were to cut this up again, it'd be the same thing. So if you were to subtract 2 from 5, you would get if you subtracted 2 from 5, you would have 2. Wait, now I'm confused. You have 5 of these. You'd have 3 of these left over. And then the 2 that would remain would be these plus these. So it'd be like combining this with this, and this with this. And the remaining 3 would be the same size. So you would end up with 2 really fat ones and 3 smaller ones. And then if you subtracted, 2 from 3, it's hard for me to see it. Subtracted 2 from the 3, you would have this one would be 2 of these. If this is 2, and then this is 3. Only 1 of these left over. And you have 2 that would be like 2 of these and 1 of these. Two really fat ones and 1 kind of small one. And then if you subtracted 1 from the 2, the tiny one would combine with the big one, so you'd have like one. You'd have 1 like this size and 1 like this size, kind of. So you have 1 of each, but they'd be different sizes. Anyway, so that's how that works. And if you subtract it from that, you just have the 1. Yes. Anyway, that's that. Then talks about smaller numbers are generally easier to work with, I guess, more useful, whatever. Temperaments are just a math dance before you pick out a moss. Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just trying to learn it. I really just want to know, like, more about, like, what intervals supposedly represent what other intervals and blah blah blah. Get familiar with the temperaments and stuff, kind of know what they are, and yeah, just learn all that. I don't have to like know every little detail, but learn the theory. Get to know it a little better than I do. ETs only have 1 form. Okay, so some Edo mappings are not even useful as generators because they are like these would all get reduced anyway. So if you wouldn't use 24 over 12, for instance. At least not in this context. Maps are atomic elements. Each different map makes a different set of commas vanish. You got soured to the idea by the XA folks? Just of like learning RTT? Oh, what happened to the music? It's playing, it's just quiet. It's gonna come back? Alright, let's go to the next one. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't spend a whole lot of time in Xenharmonic Alliance. I do, every once in a while, just go read up on stuff, but honestly, like, there's a lot of, like, super knowledgeable people in there, and, I don't ever really feel like I have anything to contribute. Like, I love that the information is there. I just learn, just read it, and, just learn from it. I go on there just to share music when I have something to share. If I had a question or something, I'm sure I could find somebody there who could help me out, but in most cases I might go to Facebook, one of the Facebook groups first, because it's just a little easier to like put a question out there and find it, and you know what I mean, it won't get lost in like a thread or anything. A lot of them aren't really knowledgeable. Well, I don't know. I guess I don't really notice that. I don't notice that too much. I definitely see some like kind of like newcomers come in asking questions and stuff, but and you know, some people are more like on the like maybe they're not big in the theory, but they make good music, you know. They're pretty skilled at you know, producing music. So, you know, it's a lot of I don't know, it's definitely a cool like it's a cool like space on the internet, just because there's not a lot of just like nonsense banter. Like it's a resourceful place, like, and a lot of like I see like Margot Schulter in there all the time, and like, you know, there's a lot of like really knowledgeable people who pipe in, and yeah. So I don't know. I don't really I don't really notice too much of people just spouting not. You know, granted, maybe they're saying a bunch of nonsense. I just don't know enough to know how nonsensical it is. But you know, to me, it seems like they're on another level in terms of knowing the theory and stuff. So I'd be surprised if I'm ever quite on that level, but I'll definitely keep learning as I go along, as long as I'm still interested. So, anyway, it's just saying. The idea that there's more than one mean tone. There's not more than one ranked one temperament. a lot of math disconnected from, yeah, but I mean that's, you know, that's what separates like a music theorist from a you know, a musician, I guess. And yeah, there's a lot of music theorists in there for sure, who are just into the theory purely. And I think a lot of the people like that would readily admit it. Some, you know, some of them make music just to like experience the ideas that they're into, but they're much more into the ideas. And yeah, that's definitely not me, but I do find this stuff interesting though. I mean, it's more interesting than like any other music theory I've learned. And part of the reason it's so interesting is it's like it goes so deep into like the simplest aspect of one of the simplest aspects of music making, which is pitch, you know? I mean, it goes into pitch and harmony, and it's like, it's just such a fundamental thing that we take for granted. But when you really start to break it down and analyze it and think about tuning, like there's a lot of possibility there. And just as a music lover, I find it fascinating. And as a composer, I find it intriguing, and I think it has a lot of potential. And I've heard a lot of things that I've really enjoyed, and I really want it to grow and get better. You don't think you have any business doing theory if you lack the perspective of being able to finish a track? I have to disagree with you there, just because a lot of the theory would, you know, might not have even come about if we didn't have like some of the diehard theorists. Like if you think about like Irv Wilson's contributions to music, like Irv Wilson was really only interested in like the sound and the theory. And in fact, even if you go beyond microtonality, like so much of our basic music theory and our basic understanding of sound, the physics of sound, was produced by non-musicians. And musicians benefit from that. But the reality is, the act of producing theory is different. It's a different domain than producing music. And musicians benefit from the theorists. And obviously, the theorists benefit from music if they enjoy music, but you know, one's an intellectual enterprise and the other is like is artistic, and they can definitely you can do something that is both. You can explore both at the same time. But you know, when you're doing pure theory, it's all just math essentially. You're just doing math and logic, and that's pretty much it. And some people get a lot of pleasure and stimulation just out of doing that, and there's nothing wrong with that. And we lesser brains benefit from those people, you know what I mean? So I'm all for it. And actually I think that's another really cool thing about this particular space, the microtonal space, is that there's more interaction between those groups in this space, and there's a much larger presence of theorists than any other musical space I've ever encountered. And I like that. I think it's cool. I like being like next door to the ideas and be able to soak it up kind of through osmosis. And just the reality that like the theory is still alive and happening. It's not pure history. We're not like analyzing.
It's been a grind, but I think I've aged you well. Some might say perfect.
These aren't people like making rules out of like the music of dead musicians. They're like trying to come up with. This one's kind of loud. they're just trying to come up with a framework to I don't think this is microtonal. Maybe technically, but like, but I don't know. It's just the fact that like we're trying to make sense of a vastly unexplored domain, so that it's just, I don't know, the theory is alive while the music is alive, and you know, a lot of times the theory doesn't really start to exist until way later. And that will happen for microtonal music too, but this is like a weird domain where like we can directly, we as composers can directly, you got Omnisphere? Oh, that's sick. I'm a little jealous. Yeah. I do want it for sure. I gotta get Piano Tech though. But yeah, it's like the only, it's the only musical space other than maybe like some really I don't know, maybe some like some hardcore producers and stuff are like in that cutting edge space of like the physics of sound. And the beautiful thing about music theory is that it's a theory. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. It's not, you don't have to take it as being prescriptive, like it's described. But you know, I think with microtonal theory it is unique in a way because it's not always, it's not even usually a historical analysis. It's a mathematical exploration of what is possible and how we can categorize these you know, vast swaths of information. Like, how do we categorize the new scales? How do we find new scales? How do we describe these sounds that are, you know, a lot of them are familiar, but many of them are kind of new. And it's just providing this, you know, fertile ground to, you know, to take information from. And for a while, it's gonna be information overloaded. It's like we have too much information because we're still figuring out, as composers, as an audience even, like we're still figuring out what is really you know, important, what is really relevant, what's gonna stick and what isn't. We don't know yet. Yeah, that's what I like. This is forward-looking theory. It's alive, it's happening, and I don't know, to me that is really cool and exciting, and I like being next door to that, you know. But yeah. Anyway. Yeah, anyway, yeah, how's everybody doing? Let's see. Hey Bear, hey everyone. Alright, so yeah, theory is more of a cataloging of why things make sense. Yeah, sure. They don't necessarily have to be followed. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And to be fair, there's like very few like microtonal prescriptivists. There's definitely a couple, you know, or some who've, you know, a few personalities have like tried to impose like rules, but I think most microtonalists just, you know, take what they like from those systems and leave behind what they don't. And you know, it's like that with whatever. Alright, it's like that with anything. Let's see, you wouldn't use 2040 to respect making commas vanish maps are atomic elements. Each different map makes a different set of commas vanish. Alright, so anyway, choosing a temperament. So which temperament should you use? Best way to find new temperaments is the web tool built by Graham Breed, found here. In order for such a tool to exist, theorists needed to determine a formula for the goodness of a temperament. The came up with a formula for badness. The exact formula I'm not gonna go over, but you should at least understand complexity and inaccuracy. The more complex the temperament, the more damage it does to the tunings of the intervals we care about. If it's more complex and does more damage, it's more bad. So Graham and some theorists developed a formula, and Graham built the code that runs for free on the web. He's an RTT hero. Thank you, Graham. Graham. All right, let's, without knowing exactly how this works, let's just take a quick glance at it.
Now uses AI to help you write, not
Temperament.
supervise. Type a prompt and generate a persuasive, mistake-free draft in seconds, personalized to your unique writing style. Download it for free at Grammarly.com.
The new 2024 GMC Sierra HD. Get 5.9% APR for 84 months on Sierra heavy-duty Denali models. That's over $5,300 in average finance savings.
11 limit. These are the equal temperaments. Badness parameter, I don't even know what that means exactly. 1 cent, sounds like it's pretty good, right? And then here's the temperaments. So here's the Itos. 72, 31, 41. And I guess they're ranked in order of badness. So these are probably better up top. So it says here like 22 is pretty good in the 11 limit, which that actually rings true, I believe. 31 is even better. And I'm assuming it's taking into account everything up to 11, but then here's the mapping of 22 to 11 limit. So 22 Ito steps to prime 2, 35 to prime 3, blah blah blah. Now here's the actual temperaments. I'm guessing these are generated by 2 of these or something. Not really sure, actually. Oh, here we go. Here's the 2 that generate it, I guess, or support it. Miracle, support by 31, 72. Not quite 2 cent error. Unideck, I've never heard of that. So this has really low error. 72, it's octoid. Also explains the complexity. Complexity is basically gonna tell you like how many different types of intervals and stuff are in there. Like how many qualities of intervals. How many, meaning category of different intervals and all that. So all these are like pretty large too. Message retracted. And yeah, so I don't know what happens. The RTT theorist convinced you to do pure JI. Yeah, I mean, if you really love the sound of JI, then just do JI, you know. But you know, JI is annoying. So supposedly the we'll see how that changes when Infinitone gets updated. Supposedly it's gonna like make like changing keys in JI really simple. But who knows how they're gonna do that. But anyway, maybe. I'm sure there's some way to, you know, there's definitely ways to make it easier. There's gotta be, right? But Infinitone is a tuning software by Subrog, whatever his name is, can't remember. It says it's coming in very soon, spring. When's spring? It's already been spring. It's already past spring. It's 2024, right? No, it's overdue. But you can, yeah, it's like $100 or something, but I don't know how much the version 2 is gonna be. But it does, it'll like do your, all your tuning. I think it uses, MTS ESP and, what's annoying about it? I mean, it depends if you want to do key changes and stuff, and you want to preserve the quality of the chords and all that. You have to deal with like comma pumps and but you know, other stuff is annoying about JI. For one, JI can be like really. I mean, I like JI. I don't actually find it annoying, but I don't find myself drawn to working with it all the time because I really like lower limit JI, probably. And like JI scales and stuff, they're so uneven. It's kind of hard to like, it's hard in the moment to predict what you're writing as you're writing it. It's harder to like have that sense of like being in control of what you're writing in a weird way. Like it's almost like you end up translating, and I guess this happens even in a lot of Edos too, but I don't know, they're having a consistent step size, the whole framework makes sense in a way that's a little more obvious. Even if the intervals don't always make sense in the beginning, it's like the underlying framework. You can start to sense the Edo step. And that makes writing a little more intuitive, I feel like, in the long term. In JI, it's almost like you're always beholden to the consonants. Like you're always beholden to the clean math between the intervals, and it's not. I don't know. It's less. To me, it feels more like you're. Like every time I work with JI, I feel more like I'm like exploring the fundamentals of sound or something. Although, you know, I have written stuff and improvised stuff in JI that I enjoyed, and I like primodal scales and I like to come up with JI scales and stuff. I do like it, but I have to admit, like, it's easy to jump around and not want to stick with something because there's sort of like, and maybe over time, like if you just stick with a particular scale or like particular limit or something, you'll start to develop that like that sense of mastery over it. But I don't know. And sometimes the cleanliness can feel a little boring, honestly. Like it can be, you know, there's such thing as too clean. I love JI Buzz, but honestly, my favorite stuff to work with is like seems to be like a lot of my favorite stuff like has like a nice mix. Like I really like 34 because that clean 5 limit. But 34 also has like so much weirdness in it. It's a really cool, just hodgepodge of that, or you know, it's a cool contrast within that tuning.
Did you know I kill my enemies in the breeze? It's too easy. I'm infinitely killing them seas. I'm the reaper. Flow deeper to the deepest regions of the sea, where the deep sea creatures might see you, but you can't.
I like it, but it's hard to read. Oh, this next song's in 34. It's gonna be hard to read while he's rapping, so I'm gonna skip it. Yeah, any scale larger than 5 notes has complex intervals. Yeah, like what they're addressing right now in the RTT, like, you know, sometimes it's nice to have reduced complexity. Like not have too many like types of interval, or like have some consistency. Like I don't know what the term is for it, but like when in an equal temperament, like even though you have like there's a lot of equal temperaments that have major, minor, and neutral of seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths. You know what I mean? Or like 3 types of seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths, or you know what I mean? Even though there's a lot of types of intervals, like when you look at the broader categories, there's ways to like simplify it. Like maybe you have the subminor domain and then the neutral. Like you have the subminors, the neutrals. So even though that encompasses like 4 or more different intervals, and even though the totality of notes might be a lot of notes, that's different from like having this inconsistency where like, oh well, you have a neutral second, and then you have a major third, but you don't have a major second, and then you have a subminor seventh, and then you have a super major. You know what I mean? Like when it's all like mixed up, that can be. I'm not even saying it necessarily sounds bad or anything, and maybe there's like better ways of like of thinking about what's happening in JI scales that is like just different from using those categories. Like maybe thinking in terms of limits. Like I haven't done enough with JI to know. Maybe like eventually it's like the sound. I mean, I do hear kind of the sound of the limits or whatever. But like I definitely can like I can say that like Well-Tuned Piano by Lamont Young, it has a particular sound that is septimal, no 5 limit. That has a particular sound, like that subminor kind of quality, and then I guess it also has like some of the super major and stuff, and like the 9/7 and all that. But like it has those sounds create a mood, and then like 5, yeah, 237. It's a really cool sound on its own, and you can I think stuff like that is probably better for JI. But when you're so used to just writing in regular music and thinking in terms like, okay, you have major chords, minor chords, you have major minor intervals, blah blah blah, and then I don't know, it's nice to have the consistency between the intervals too. So sometimes on a JI scale, you don't have that consistency. You have just like, you have that hodgepodge. Like everything is different here and different there. Like the scale's so uneven and irregular, and that can be really cool and exciting and fun to play with. I do enjoy it. I do recommend people try that sort of thing. But at the same time, when you sit down and compose, sometimes that's what you want. Like sometimes you want the scale to kind of reveal like how it wants to be used, and you just want to kind of follow along with that. But then sometimes you just want to I think if you want to start feeling like you're gonna, like if you really want to settle into a tuning or whatever and like start to really get down into the grit of it, to me it seems a little more enticing to have just like a regular hey, you can mod, yeah, why not? Yeah, thanks for offering. But you did learn them. Yeah. I would like to work with JI and stuff, but I think like right now where I'm at is like I want to settle into a tuning or two. Like I want to spend a lot of time with 22 for sure. I think before I get a Lumitone, I want to spend a lot of time with 22, and probably after I get a Lumitone, I'll start checking out 34, and maybe some larger tunings again. Like I'm really curious about 55 as well, and to some degree like 41 and 31. But I do like JI stuff. I've done a lot with it, just not recently. Ever since I got the linnstrument, it's so easy to do Edos now that I've kind of done. I've progressively done less and less JI stuff. But you know, JI is like, if you're just getting into microtonal, I think you have to like learn at least the basics, and if you want to compose microtonally, it's a good idea to at least try it. Try some JI stuff and like get a feel for the sounds. And alright, let's check this out from Ruan. Gun of the day. That's pretty cool. That was different from the other one, right? Or was it just like cleaned up? But yeah, I don't have anything against JI. If you're into it, I think it's great. I think if you're writing music, then you know, keep writing music. Oh, that was all Omnisphere? On Omnisphere, you just use all the presets, or do you spend much time tweaking them? So if you click on Miracle, okay, so once you click on the temperament, it gives you the ET mappings, and then it gives you the reduced mappings, those like pure mappings, kinda. That's interesting. And then it gives you the 10E Euclidean generator tunings. Okay, and there's even a TE. So here's a TE step. It's in cents. Not really sure what this stuff on the bottom is. Oh, you made your own? Does it have like a it has like a synthesis engine then? I'm not super familiar with Omnisphere. I kind of was thinking like Trillion is very like you can tweak it, but it's very sample based, and it doesn't like have like a synth engine, not that I'm aware of anyway. It is okay, that's cool. Hell yeah. Yeah, congrats on that. I'm definitely like interested in Omnisphere. Alright, so anyway, let's try an example. Just open this link. It says temperament search. So it says 5 limit. Let's try in here. Alright. keep this over here. Alright. Just get it, I'll have no regrets. After I got a couple other things, yeah, for sure. Alright, so these are ranked by ascending badness. The top hit is mean tone with only 1.8. It's historical per reason. So let's see, is that true? Yes, mean tone is the first one. Can y'all see that? Yeah. Mean tone is the first one here. And then, okay, interesting. And here's the eagle temperaments. Notice that 17 is not even on here. It has 12 and 19 in here. But of course 5 plus 12 is 17, so that's why it got included before. And the prime 5 is tempered out, so it's not really. That's why I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess that's part of it, but oh, the music is glitchy? Hold on. That sounds fine. That sounds fine. That sounds fine. That sounds fine. Huh. Is it working now? Is it working now? Is it working now? Oh, I hear it. Is it working now? Oh, I hear it. I don't know what to do about it. I'm not gonna restart this stream. I'm only streaming for another 15 minutes, so let's just hope it like fixes itself tomorrow. I'll turn up the music in my room so maybe y'all can hear it a little bit, but through the microphone. I turned off the desktop audio. Yeah, 14 is nice tuning. I played with Semaphore in 14. I actually haven't spent much time with 14, but I did write something in Semaphore in 14. But I should try just like noodling in 14. Yeah, I'm sorry about the audio. I don't know. I have just my mic audio on. It still sounded like it was sounding weird, but hopefully it'll if it's not fixed tomorrow, I'll investigate a little bit. Clicking on Srutal. Discard is 12 and 22. (12 ET is one of the ETs that merged to make Srutal, and 12 ET supports Srutal. Though Graham's app uses wart notation, so it's specified 12 and 17C. 12 and 17 refers to Helmholtz. We want to describe Mean Tone as the merger of two unwarded maps, and what we want is 12 and 19. We know right away about that Srutal is a temperament which makes a comma vanish that is made to vanish by both 12 and 22. And what a comma is, that comma is, we can look to almost the bottom of the page where it gives unison vector. So the unison vector is 2048 to 2025. It just literally gives the comma. Yeah, the Kite's firmware is yeah, by the way, if you're interested in that, you, if you just hit up Kite, he'll he might walk you through how to install it. Next time I did message him last night to kind of broach the subject, but next time I talk to him, I'll figure out specifically if I can give out the firmware itself and all that. But if you are interested though, it's probably better to just reach out to him, because I don't remember all the steps to do it, honestly. I vaguely recall, but I know it's on GitHub and all that, but on this firmware you can go up to 55. But honestly, I think he's a Tall Kite on Discord. And he's on Facebook, Kite Guitaritis. He made the Kite guitar. I don't know if you're familiar with the Kite guitar, and he's also on a lot of Zen Wiki pages, because his a lot of his theory is taken for granted as kind of the way we talk, the ups and downs notation and all that. I believe that was one of Kite's contributions to the theory. Anyway, so I mean, 14's definitely good. You know, you can go higher. I think you can have fun in 17, 19, 22, maybe a little larger even, depending on your layout and all that. I'm trying to get more creative with the layouts, so so I can try larger tunings on here too. But I got a 5-octave range on my 22 Edo tuning. Layout on my 22 Edo layout, and so I'm trying to learn that kind of well. And if that goes well, then I'll try some other ones. I might try some larger tunings and won't get 5 octaves, of course, but like say I could get a clean 4 octaves with 31 Ito or something, at least in several keys. Like, that wouldn't be bad at all, honestly. Like, if possible, I'll even try to find a good one for 34, where I can get a little more than like 2 octaves or 1.5 octaves of range. That's the problem, is like with the larger Itos, you're not guaranteed much range. So 11, -4, -2. Maps 4532 and 6445 together. Is the reduced mapping. They're saying 23501 -2. This is 2011, but whatever. It's the same. I don't think I'm gonna open this one. Yeah, it doesn't. The website's kind of changed a little bit. The next one is augmented. $12 and $15. $128, $120. Three thirds. Makes an octave. That's kind of weird. Weird. Next one is porcupine. 27 and 22. Two 50, 40, 243. Porcupine maps, 2 minor whole tones to a minor third. Interesting. Plates down now. Alright, so I made it to the end of the first real article. So, it's about time to go. I just want to take a quick glance at what's coming. So the next one is all about tuning. So, anyway, this looks interesting. A lot of stuff looks sort of familiar, some does not. Weight slope. Target intervals. So yeah. Start reading this tomorrow, I think. And yeah, anyway, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I will be back tomorrow. Gonna be mixing more Doom Salad. Gonna be doing more reading. Yeah, y'all have a good night. And yeah, anyway. Maybe I'll actually play some linnstrument tomorrow, but I get so I don't know. When I first was reading this, I don't know. I didn't find it that interesting. Now I'm finding it kind of interesting. So anyway, been getting lost in it. It's not a bad thing. Okay, see you guys. Have a good one.